Hello Booktube, my name's Becca and I am very, very sad. Today is the last day of Booktube-A-Thon. It's day 7 of Booktube-A-Thon and I'm so depressed. Like, it's been such a fun week. I've actually been reading a lot. I've probably read more in the past week than I have in months. It's been a really fun reading and making videos and watching other people's videos and just getting involved in the craziness of it all. So let's just hop into what I read yesterday/today before I filmed this video. I read The Neverland Wars by Audrey Greathouse. This book was good enough. I gave it a 4-star review and this was for my cover by read, so I have that challenge checked off. I also started reading The Sign of 4 by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, which is Sherlock Holmes. It's in this giant bind-up that I have. It's about 60 pages in here. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm hoping I can read that today because it's not that long, so we're going to see how that one goes. And that's pretty much all I've been reading so far. I'm going to do my Booktube-A-Thon wrap-up with my July wrap-up, so that's all I'm going to say about what I've read so far. The challenge for today is called Book Stories. Basically what you do is you pick a book and you tell a story about it, or you tell a story about reading. So today I've decided to tell you a story about a specific series that is very near and dear to my heart. Maximum Ride! So Maximum Ride. This series, it means like the world to me. I started reading the series when I was in 8th grade and now I'm going into my senior year of college, so it's been with me for a very long time now. You need some background before I hop right into me actually reading these books. In my 8th grade, my school decided that it was a good idea to separate writing and reading class. Like, I don't really know, like the reading class was like more like composition and like reading like literature, like the literature textbooks and learning to write, like scholarly and stuff like that. And then the writing class was more like writing like 5-page essays and stuff like that. I don't know, they mixed it up like really weird and nobody knew what was going on. It was really weird. But my writing teacher, he had like the weirdest, he was so weird. He actually ended up getting fired because of some stuff he did. But that's another story. One of the books we actually read in his class was actually Stormbreaker by Anthony Horowitz, which is the first Alex Rider novel. You wouldn't expect this to be a book that you read. I don't even remember why we read it. I just remember that we did. He also had a bookshelf with like a lot of different books, and at that time I liked to read. I started my reading journey before that, reading Warriors, so I was always looking for new books to read. And on his shelf I ended up finding The Final Warning by James Patterson. This is the 4th Maximum Ride book. When I found the book on his shelf, it looked something like this. And it said something about being #1 of the protectors. And I saw the 1 and I was like, oh, that must be the start of a series. So I started reading it and I was really confused as to why it started with a certain character's death. But I read it and it explained stuff, so it was good enough. And I finished reading it. And it wasn't until after I finished reading it that I realized that it was #4 in a series and there were 3 more books before it. So I think I actually ended up reading Max, that's the next book, before I went back and I read the first 3 books of the series, because at that time I don't believe that Fang, the next book, was out yet. So I read those books and I got like so engrossed with them and they were great. My group of like 4 friends also got obsessed with them too. And it was just amazing because me and my friends, we were kind of grounded in this art class that we were all in, our art club. It was like called like Character Counts Art Club. It wasn't like the normal art club. I guess it was for people who could draw better and stuff, and we would like draw stuff for people in hospitals or stuff around the school. We would do more than just like personal art and stuff. And I was in that club with my friends and we all would always just sit there after school at a table and draw stuff. So it was like really fun to be with them, and also really fun to have this bond of Maximum Ride with them because we all read the books and we all loved them so much and we all picked characters for who we are. Like, I was Angel, my best friend Stephanie was Fang, I don't remember who else was who. And also during that time, that was when the mangas were first coming out and we always passed the mangas around and we would always read them and we thought these were the best things ever, and it was really just a lot of fun. For me, Maximum Ride was like that first series for me where I really found like a community of people who loved the same thing. Even though it was just me and my 4 friends, it was still like a group of us who would always just talk about Maximum Ride, and it was always just great and amazing and wonderful. And now I'm about to show you something that I drew, and I'm very embarrassed of it, but I'm going to show you it. So in the Maximum Ride books, there's this character named Ari. Here he is in the manga. Me and my friends dubbed him Wolverine on steroids. Yep. I don't know where that came from. I honestly don't remember, but that is honestly what we started calling Ari. And I even drew him once. I know it's horrible. I know it is. But I can laugh at it now. I really can. It's so bad. And that was always just like our inside joke. Like we're all like, oh, Wolverine on steroids over here. And we had so many inside jokes like that. And it was just really fun hanging out with my group and reading Maximum Ride and loving it so much. Like, I was only at that school for half of 8th grade, but honestly that half of the 8th grade felt like a lifetime for me. I don't understand how it was half a year because of all the stuff we did and how much we hung out and how long it seemed just talking about these books. Even after I moved away, I still kept reading Maximum Ride, and I believe after I moved away, the next 3 books, Fang, Angel, and Nevermore came out, and those were just really fun to read. And even though I wasn't really in contact with my friends anymore because of distance and stuff, it was still just really fun. And every time I read those books, I was still reminded of those memories that I had, and it still made me happy. Maximum Ride is also another big series for me because it was one of the first series I wrote fanfiction on. Fanfiction you will never find because I am not going to give you the count because of how embarrassed I am of it. But it is fanfiction that people still read and people still comment on it like, where's the next book? And I'm not writing it obviously because it's been like 5 years now and people need to look at the dates on things. Maximum Ride for me is just, other than Warriors, it's the epicenter of what made me get into reading. Without Maximum Ride, I'm not sure if I would have read more. I mean, I probably would have, but I wouldn't have had that experience that I did with Maximum Ride, and I don't know. I don't know what my reading life would have been like. I don't know what my relationship with my friends would have been like. I really don't know. I think personally that is why I felt so betrayed by Forever, which I've already talked about this book during this Booktube-A-Thon, so if you've been watching, you know that I have some major problems with this book. I think that's why I kind of felt so betrayed by this book, because I was expecting more from it just because of the big experience I had had with Maximum Ride, and this book didn't live up to that. But I love Maximum Ride with all my heart, and even though we have another horrible adaptation today, the comic I'm Looking at You, I'm just gonna forget that thing exists and love it with all my heart. And oh yeah, we got a really random movie like a year ago. I have my grievances with that movie. Like seriously, that movie came out of the literal blue after like 4 years of talks of a movie, and then all of a sudden, bam, here's a trailer for this movie. It's like, where did you come from? And also the manga series is still stuck on number 9, and 10 was probably supposed to come out like a year ago, and they're kind of all getting smaller. But there's a lot of things wrong with Maximum Ride, but it's okay. I can overlook some of them just because of how much I love it and how much it means to me, and I don't know what my life would be if I didn't read Maximum Ride, honestly. So thank you for watching this video, and this is the last video I will make specifically about Booktube-A-Thon this year. It's been so much fun and such a roller coaster, and I've just loved it so much. I will be uploading a July wrap-up where I talk about everything I've read this month, including Booktube-A-Thon. So if you want to know if I completed my challenges, please check that video out when it's uploaded. Thank you guys for sticking with me through all 7 days of Booktube-A-Thon, and I will see you guys next time. Until then, goodbye.